Hello. Oh, I can wave at you.
Nice. Wait,
Cool.
how do you do that?
I just waved. There was an option.
Well, I didn't see this one. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm good. A bit tired, but good. Very
Cool.
good. Very excited for this conversation. First
Yeah.
time.
Okay. So, welcome to Club Angoisse. For those of you who hasn't met Florentine yet, she is a French artist based in London, and today we're at her studio in Hackney, and we're going to talk a bit about her work and her practice and her material choice. So I'm going to elaborate that, I guess, in a bit. So Florentine, would you like to say some words to begin with?
I'm just very happy to be here because, when I started doing art studies, you never know what you're gonna do afterwards. But now it feels like I finally found my practice and what I want to do, and being able to share it with a wider community is really what I want to do. So I'm very happy to be here.
Cool. And from what I remember, you have a lot of really amazing sculpture work, working with metal and strings. So would you like to tell us one or two projects that you love?
Yeah, I think there's been a few one. Maybe the main one is the one that is behind me. I think this is the one that I hold very dear to my heart, just because it's my goal as an artist to be integrating abstract shapes and colors and reintegrating nature into the urban environment. So these are actually 3 arches that were integrated for my degree show as part of a building. It's like 10 meter long by like 4 or 5 meter high, I think. So it was really a great challenge. And then seeing for like 3 weeks to a month all the passers-by, people from Chelsea as well as visitors from the States, just experiencing the piece and actually using the piece as I attended, but without me saying anything about it, was really great. And then I think another great experience was in Miami, when I went to Art Basel with JXQ, which was an interactive designer, which is an interactive designer. And we did a project with Ruault Pop-Up where we created a face-like sculptures. It was a very hybrid where people were live projected into the sculpture. So it was super cool because, when they were passing by, they didn't see their reflection, and then they could interact with their reflection on the tablet. And it was really reflecting on society as it is today and how we portray ourselves and, the expectation and how your reflection and what you think you're looking like is not always exactly what other people are seeing. And then I think the last one would be Aqua Proyecta, because it's funny because this one was in 2016, yet it's so linked to the values that I hold now, because it was like mimicking nature, but within the urban environment, we're creating like this kind of really big dome, and then kind of forbidding people of using their cell phones, just because they were playing with water to create the reflection on the top. So that was really nice to get like the digital aspects out of the life for a moment.
Cool. So you worked a lot with large scale work, and I'm especially interested in, like, for example, like in terms of materials. How did you come to terms that you prefer to work with, for example, metal and paper and strings? Like, how did you end up choosing using these materials?
It came from metal, for aluminium especially. It came really naturally. I've never worked with metal before Aqua Proyecta, so I learned everything on this project. And then, because this material is very urban, but I was transforming it into something that was a bit more abstract and related to nature, because I was integrated with some natural fibers, so the Sabra thread that I'm sourcing in Morocco. It allowed me this kind of playfulness with it, because it's really easy to bend and to form different type of shapes. So this one was really intuitive. But then paper, I think it's really just slowed down because I couldn't be in the metal workshop, so I needed to find a way of putting my ideas into shapes. And yeah, but now, like this one, for example, I think I'm going to recycle it into another wall sculpture. And then, like, for example, when I'm doing prints, I'm trying to be more sustainable as an artist within the material that I'm using, because I want to kind of embody the values that are all dear to my heart. So now it's all about bamboo paper or recycled plastic for the upcoming series of new sculptures.
Cool. Would you like to tell us a bit more about this? The recycled materials that you're exploring?
Yeah, it's actually recycled plastic that is fully recyclable as a unit, but I really hope no one is going to recycle my artworks. And then I'm going to be laser cutting them. I mean, not laser cutting them, but like using, recreating the same type of shapes and having them suspended, because I really like the suspension in the air gives this kind of like holy feeling. I don't know if you see what I mean.
Yeah. No, but I honestly, like, now that you mentioned about, let's say, go back to when you said about like metal work, you have a like very specific style of turning shapes into this fluid form, which I think is brilliant. It's such a like heartwarming thing to do, like especially in a big urban city like London. It brings the sort of warmth to it, I think.
Yeah, and that's what's great about aluminium, because it is metal, but it's actually so light that it gives this like feeling of imposing feeling, yet it's so delicate. And I think it's kind of using metal, and especially aluminium, is kind of also reflecting on myself. Like it looking really rough sometimes on the outside, or really cold, and then being really
like really tough, like like super tough guy in the workshop.
Yeah, no, but like, yes, that's something else. Like, you know, there's so few, I mean, there's more and more women's, but, you know, it's such a male-dominated environment, and then being a woman in there is sometimes a challenge, but not as much. I mean, there's few people that we will not mention, but then there's so many of them that are actually, it's cute and funny at the same time, just because they're curious and they wonder why you're doing here, but then when they just ask the first two questions, they just come to me as they would any other guy in the workshop when they need help, or when they want me to use a machine that they don't know how to use. So I feel quite powerful when it happens.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing that you know what you're doing. It's promising. So do you have any plans for your current work, for example, the sculpture that you have?
Everything is really... apart from I've been creating a new series of shapes, aluminium shapes lately, and apart from these ones that I'm planning on finishing before summer, I don't really have much planned. I feel like it's time for me to take a step back. I've been producing the same type of sculptures for a while now, and I don't feel I feel connected, but I feel it's time to move on to something else. And I really want to integrate vegetable elements into my work, and making it living and making it alive, and actually integrating really nature into my work.
Cool.
So it's not...
Yeah. So you have some exciting new plans for your old work, and see where it's going. I guess it's you're completing the full cycle of your project.
Yeah,
it doesn't just stop, and how do you say? It doesn't just stop at the point of exhibition.
No, not at all. Like it feels very nice, but also it felt like carrying on using aluminium and buying aluminium was not the most sustainable thing I could do. And also because I've been rethinking the way I was seeing my work, and because I was putting a meaning on my work, it didn't, it was working and it was having the impact that I thought it was going to have on the audience. But now it feels like the artwork and the meaning needs to be much more linked to one another, and I just want to be in line with my thoughts and everything.
So There's a question that I have for you is, I would like to know a little bit more about what you do in your own time, not just in your studio, but just, in general as an artist. What are your hobbies, and do you have any like specific things to do when you're stressed, when you're looking for new inspirations or feeling a bit stuck?
On a daily basis, I cook a lot, and I love eating. So that's something for me that is really soothing. Like, it's really therapeutic to be preparing a new recipe, and or everything that is linked to food is really, I hold it very close to my heart because I'm French, and because I've been growing in a family where, dinner were really important, lunch were really important. Everyone is sitting around the table. So for me, recreating this type of situations helps me feeling more grounded, at least.
Do you have a signature dish?
As cliche as it's gonna sound, homemade pasta. I make mean homemade pasta. Like, it's what I started doing during COVID, like everyone else's. But then, no, maybe, yeah, it just changes so much. Like, I'm obsessed with one recipe. Like, for example, over summer, I would be obsessed with feta. And then I will move on to something else. And then, I don't know, I like creating rituals to ground myself with loads of smell. So I burn a lot of candles, incense, and then music. I have a lot of playlists depending on my mood. So if I need to be grounded, I will listen to something that I feel is more relaxing. But then there's some times where what's going to ground me and makes me feel more relaxed is actually to listen to some really hardcore techno. So it's to each their own. And then
techno. Do you have a public playlist that we can see?
Yeah, I'm starting uploading some on Spotify because it feels like it's a good place. And if people are liking my artwork and want to be involved in this kind of like community feeling, I think that's where we start. I mean, if they like my artwork, they should like my music taste. Or maybe.
Yeah, I think in a way it's also like just the feeling of being in your kind of environment, the atmosphere, the mindset. I think it comes in one big package. Sometimes it's not just seeing your work at an exhibition. That's like how do you say, like more like single dimensional.
I think I would really like to work with smell. I think we don't work enough with smell. Just like for me, it's so important. When you get into someone's home. Yeah. And you have the smell of their homes, whether or not, like, sometimes you're surprised by the smell of the homes of your friends, like, maybe you like them or not. And for me, it's so important to, like, curate the space. That's what my boyfriend says I'm quite good at, of, like, changing the atmosphere within the space. And I think that's what we've been doing with lockdown, by just, like, lighting up some candles or just putting away every work stuff. And I think, yeah, just being locked up made us feel so restrained about what we could be doing, and I think that's been the starting point of a lot of my work, because I wanted to add color in my space. So I decided to design a series of prints for people to have color, and to like each color have its own meaning, so they could be sending like good energies to the people they couldn't see, and then maybe some like bizarre design stuff. I don't know. I'll see. I'm really like in the experimental research stage, and it feels really nice.
Yeah, nice. So tips from Florentine when you're stressed: buying food, cooking, eating, and then do it again. And create your own rituals, and I guess having the atmosphere is super important. You can head to Florentine's Spotify to have a listen of her selection of music.
Exactly.
And don't blame me. Sorry?
I said, don't blame me if you get fat.
Well, yeah, I mean, and then afterwards it's all the hardcore techno.
Yeah, the hardcore dancing, just dancing around, it feels so nice. Actually, dancing every day and laughing every day is the biggest point. And just putting down your phone. It's just, I took a break from Instagram for like 2 months, and I've never felt better. I mean, it's the first time I'm like really going back and starting posting stories again and everything. But it felt so nice to be off. Like, it's so, because, when it's part of your business, it's so integrated into it that you you're losing it sometimes, and you're losing
like
the
you
real
feel very obliged to be always up to date with everything and to be replying people. And, it could be stressful.
Like, I think it's good for your mental health and well-being to sometimes just allow you, like, you don't have to reply to everyone in a timely manner, or it's just like thinking of you and just being really present when you are with someone, and just I think I'm just really going back to basic stuff. I'm not going to go and raise some llamas in Peru, but
go back to nature.
Yeah, no, I feel like but I think it's a strong call that everyone is feeling with lockdown.
Yeah.
Don't you feel that way?
It's also reasonable that, how do you say, it's fair enough that, when you're stuck in one space and all you want to do is to be connected with the outside world. So you start trying to make connections with people, with strangers and everything over online, over your phone. But at one point, it just takes away the actual living part of your life. Like you stop looking at what's happening actually around you physically, and it could be something that's quite hard to be detached from.
But don't you feel like even before lockdown, we kind of stuck in the city? Like, now when I'm next to traffic, I feel so oppressed, and when I'm like, there's so many people and noise around me, I mean, I love it from time to time, but then it feels really overwhelming, and everything that I want is to go back in my little bubble with my friends and just not having a single care in the world,
Yeah, it is. So I would like to ask one last question. So do you have any plans on your upcoming journey, like for the following few months, I'd say? Because you mentioned about doing a bit more research, and perhaps it's like planning a road trip. Like you're making like plans for what's going to happen.
Yes, I think I changed a few things about the way I was seeing the studio. I was only focused on the studio for the past 2 years. Right after I graduated, I didn't stop, and I had this luxury of not doing this, but also because I was sometimes working freelance on the side. But now I took a full-time job on, so it feels really nice. I'm just gonna make some more research about the fauna and the flora that in specific cities, and then natural pigments, and all this kind of like different type of material, and just really trying to reevaluate where I stand next to, like, in comparison to my work. And I think relinking it to its core purpose, because it felt like I was at a stage when I was writing down ideas and everything, it felt so far from the work I'm creating right now. So I feel like, maybe I want to just go away maybe in 6 months or more, and maybe I want to move. Like, I think it's not only a 6 month process. I think I'm just starting a new period of my life, and I may be moving from London and getting into somewhere where I'll be a bit disorientated, but I'm staying in London for at least 2 years. But then,
good to know.
No, but it's just I think being more connected to nature and rooting it into my work, and being more sustainable. And also, I think what changed is now I'm understanding that what my artworks are and what my practice is just my point of views, and I'm offering to the world. And then if people are keen on being part of it and sharing it with me, I'm more than happy to. But then now I understand that I won't please everyone, and I think that's what changed a lot since I started.
That's great. Yeah, I've seen. I see you've come a long way, and you're ready for the exciting next chapter.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I hope you're gonna be by my side, because I'm gonna need my friends when I'm going up and down the emotional World Cup stuff. What they
I'll be following you around. It's in a pocket.
Yeah.
But no, I think this year, the past year with COVID, it's really made everyone, like, made so many people rethink about like the living space and the sort of lifestyle they even being put in. Like, it's not just, you know, like something that they choose. Like, people just ended up accepting the way we live, and it was such a fast-paced lifestyle that, you know, like when COVID happened, everyone kind of took a step back and started rethinking, wow, like I need more living space, like why am I doing this, like I don't have to. And I think in a way it's a blessing that really gave us some time and space to reflect.
Yeah, but I think it's also a luxury of considering it as a blessing. I mean, the first part of the lockdown I consider it as a blessing and time to like. But then, you know, as living in the UK, as the second and third lockdown arrives, and then the lockdown just being extended, you're like, okay, but, you know, I'm part of the creative industry and we're struggling here. Can we please do something about this? And then, you know, you see so many people turning to movies and music and everything I mentioned before that to kind of relax and feel better during COVID. But these are the industries that are the most impacted.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like, so this is what I don't understand, because this is what makes people feel good in a way, like eating out, seeing movies, listening to artists, going to exhibition. Not for everyone. Some people might find it very boring, but that's another topic. And then all of these industries are cut out. So yeah. I kind of want to change things. I want to change the world, and I'm really have this like naive optimism that everything is gonna go better and brighter, and I think that's what we need sometimes as well.
Yeah, I think so too. I was just thinking about it today because I was walking around Pigalle, and there were, you know, seeing all the restaurants being closed, and there were lots of instrument shops that's half open. And I was thinking that, you know, people who work from the office can actually go work in the office, but we, like the creative industry, is the one that's one of the most that's hardest hit. It's just because we don't sit by the office every day, but you know, we're unfortunately the one that has been put on hold. That, you know, we can't go out and see a gig. We can't go to a bar and see some live performance, and there weren't a lot of exhibitions openings happening at all in the past year. Everything's been slow. So I think it's important that also as artists we try to support each other and find ways to move things forward. There's gotta be.
I mean, that's why you created Club Ambroise, didn't you?
Well, I hope this can help bring people together as well, to also to keep everyone connected and to see where the new direction is.
Yeah, I'm super proud of you for doing this project. I think it's a really great initiative, and I'm looking forward to see all of the other guests coming in.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Florentine. I'm going to check if everything's good here. Yeah, I think so. Cool. So thank you so much. Thank you again. The episode will be available online. I'll upload it onto the website, and it'll be available on Instagram and as a podcast. So thank you everyone for joining in.
Sending good energies.
Bye bye.